Welcome back. Another trade review. This one hurts. On the chart here, the day's not even over yet, but I'm kind of just making this video to keep from trading anymore. I set my alert on MU yesterday. I loved how we were curling, so we broke below the daily 9 EMA here. But then we came back and we reclaimed it, which was awesome. So we came down, kind of retested this daily 20 EMA, and we've been getting a nice push up ever since. So what I saw was this kind of small gap above this previous day high, from Thursday, and I was interested in playing a break and retest of this level and playing it higher to around this 775 area. Well, if we go to the 5-minute, here's what happened. I had, let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. So previous day high. I saw it just started off just between pre-market high, pre-market low. I had no levels in between those levels, so I really was just not interested. I actually wasn't even watching it right off the bat. So I waited. I got an alert at this candle here, 1040. And I was looking to see what the candles were doing at this level here. So right at this, right here on my level there that I have marked out, previous day high, I was seeing if we were wicking off that. And clearly we were not. So I had no business entering, did not enter, which was good. Just kind of sat on my hands, which was awesome. This candle here, just the top wick, and then it never touched the level. I'm really trying to be patient and look for price to actually hit the level, not just come close. I know I'm going to miss trades if I'm waiting for that perfect entry rate on the level when it's touching, but that's kind of a sacrifice I'm willing to make because I don't want to have all this drawdown during a trade. I would like a nice clean break when we break that level and cut it, know exactly where I need to cut, and not have kind of this gray area where I start to think, oh, well, what if it works, all this other stuff. So waiting for it to touch, didn't do that. And then we came down and we did retest pre-market high pretty nicely. However, again, this yellow line, previous day high, is my major level, and I want to respect my major levels there. Those mean more to me than these pre-market high, pre-market low levels. And as you can see on MU is respecting that level there that I have marked off pretty nicely. So we broke, didn't have any interest in entering, and then we broke back above, so this candle right here, and still no retest. However, then we got this level here. Let's see, I don't want that. Let's find. So we did end up breaking at 11:05 here, this candle right here. Then there was no retest. However, then this happened right here. And this is where I got interested. And this is where I bought some calls. So on this wick here, we touched it, and then we never closed back underneath. So I bought calls, trusted that level. I liked the bigger time frame setup, so this 5-minute break. So we got 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes over the level, and then we came down, wicked off of it. And this resulted in around 60%. I was looking to buy weeklies. However, it was kind of expensive, so I did dabble in some 0 DTEs, which I definitely don't love doing. However, I kept the size pretty light, and I pulled off a nice 60% trade. I did trim kind of heavy at 20% because the 0 DTEs kind of make me nervous, so I wasn't trying to mess around with that. So it wasn't a crazy dollar amount profit, and for some reason, that kind of stuck in my head. When we were up at 60%, I was up, I can't remember the dollar amount, but it was nice and everything, and then I started to cut as we started to fall back. But for whatever reason, the dollar amount, I got so caught up in the P&L, it just wasn't satisfying enough. So what I did was I continued to watch the stock. I was really looking for a gap fill, and that obviously didn't happen, kind of came close, but we still had another $3, $4 to fill it. So I stuck around, and after all of that, so I got out and then started sitting on my hands again because this candle closed below the level. And then I saw us come back up. And then I saw these 3 wicks here. 1, 2, 3, actually 4. 4 wicks there. And I got interested again. So what I did was I bought on this candle right here. So we broke, retest, and then I ended up waiting and I bought right there. And I love the entry. Again, the entries today were really not the problem. It was kind of an emotional issue today. The entries were pretty spot on. I loved that I entered like right at the previous day high level. And then we just didn't push off this level. It really wasn't showing me any bullish interest. It just was not giving me that juice off of the level. And here's where things started to go wrong. Once we didn't get this push off of this candle here. So once this one here, the entry, didn't give me the push, and then this one happened, I actually cut when we started to get lower towards pre-market low. I actually cut that trade. I really didn't want to. I was already green, and I didn't want to get greedy and just be in this trade and then have it fail on me and just break below pre-market low. So I cut it, and I was okay with it. It was fine. It brought me back down to about break even, just above being green overall in the day, which was fine. I took another attempt. I was really kind of okay with it, but seeing the level and wanting to trust the level really took over in my brain, which I believe is a good thing to have. I believe that I should be trusting my levels. However, after the first green trade, I should have closed the charts and then went on with my day. It would have been fine. So what? Today's not a big juicer to the upside, so who cares? There's going to be another one. However, that was not my thinking when this was going on. So there was the second attempt, and I cut it for a small loss. This is where it really got bad. After cutting here, I then saw this candle happen, and I bought during this candle. Because after this closed above the level, I started thinking, okay, I really like the wicks off of this level. We're respecting not only the previous day high, so we're respecting this level here, but we're also respecting pre-market high, and that's what I really loved seeing. And as you can see, this next candle broke my level, and I did not cut here. What I did was I kind of got in denial, and I let this candle happen. And then I let this candle happen. And the reason I was letting those happen was because I switched to a higher time frame. So if I go to, let's see, this is 12:20. If I go to the 15-minute time frame, these candles here were forming. And I loved that the 15-minute was holding this level. Obviously, this candle did not hold the level. So I ended up cutting pretty late, but around, actually, during this candle here when we were coming back up, to me, this looked like, okay, we're reversing. This level here that I have marked off, this previous day high, is no longer holding. However, I was in denial for a little while. I let this whole candle form, close, and then this candle started, and you can see we came down lower, and then we started to wick off of this level underneath it, which was not good. So I ended up cutting. And now, as you can see, this trade ended up coming back up and working exactly the way I thought it would. I was not in this trade at this point, and this is what hurts. That last attempt here, I sized up because I loved these wicks off of this level here. I sized up, and this was really only around 18% loss to start. That's the catch there, to start. And then I let it just sit and sit and sit because I was just in denial. And not only was I in denial, I was in 0 DTEs, so theta was really kicking its butt, and it was just crushing the contract. So this ended up being around a 32% loss. I actually, when it came back up and I was down like 5%, I did trim a couple for a 5% loss. So it wasn't the whole entire size was not a 32% loss, but it was not, this was not a good attempt. I can't enter on the 5-minute in 0 DTEs and then switch to a high time frame and just hope and wait that this works out because these candles are really nice, especially in 0 DTEs. That theta is going to absolutely crush the contracts. What kills me now is that it worked out. And I've done it in previous trades, and I know I absolutely cannot do it. If I were to just hold this, yes, it would have worked. However, to keep us safe in trading, this is why we have rules. This is why if I'm entering on the 5-minute, I want to be watching the 5-minute. And when it doesn't work, I need to cut it. And if I'm sizing appropriately, I can re-enter. This can be a break, and then this is not the best retest, so I can't even say that I would have entered here. But if I'm sizing the way I should be, I would be able to enter right here. And I'd be able to actually catch the move that I was looking for. And as long as I'm keeping those other the losses small, all of those will completely be washed out, and I'll end up green on the day. However, after the first attempt, made a nice 60%, a little less than that after some trims. The second attempt brought that green back to about break even. And then the third attempt, I was just so upset. I couldn't believe I didn't just walk away, that I sized up and I just took all the rest of my buying power and I put it in this trade. Again, luckily I trimmed as I started to see it slowly go down, so I was kind of de-risking as it went down. So it wasn't a complete wash, but I completely took my rules and chucked it out the window. Did not blow the account by any means. It's really the whole account right now is down 10%, I believe, which is obviously not acceptable. But and it's disgusting. Like I hate that it's down that much. I hate that I broke my rules. What's really bothering me, and there's nothing I can control here, but is the fact that it worked out. I got stopped out so many times, and I couldn't even attempt it this last time because I decided to size up. That is something that needs to be completely wiped away from my trading. Completely. That's going to keep me non-profitable. If I can't cut that out of my system, it's not my system, but out of my trading, then I'm just donating money. I need to stick to these rules. I have the rules. I feel like I have a real nice strategy. Break, retest. My entries have been on fire lately, right on the level. But then the emotions still creep in, and they keep me from keeping the losses small. That's my biggest issue, is keeping the losses small. I'll go on a nice run where I keep the losses small, but then the wins won't be as big, and I just start to get into this rut of my account's not growing fast enough, and then I start to size up because I see that my account is not growing fast. So I size up, and then all of a sudden a bigger loss happens, and then I just start to spiral. I know mentally, I know I should trust my rules, and I know I have a solid system. I'm watching videos nonstop on just trading and watching other people trade and just seeing, okay, what are they looking for? And I don't even know that I need to anymore. I really think I just need to trust my rules, but for some reason, the emotions still creep in, and I have this urge to make all of this money back that I've lost over the years, and that overcomes all of those rules, and it's very difficult. So just talking through this, looking for some sort of answers and cues and things that you guys kind of see to help you out with some of these things, because I really want this to work out. I am so far in to this whole trading thing that I want it to work. It has to work. I'm at the point where I've spent so much time studying and learning all about all of these trading strategies and psychology strategies that this has to work. I have to make this work. I do not want to quit because I see the benefits to trading. I see other people and the money that they're making and how it's helped their lives, and I want to be able to do that same thing. So I know I have to trust my rules. I know I have a nice sound system in place, but there's a lot of trading days where I take that system and I just flush it down the toilet. Look at this trade ended up working. I know that my big picture ideas, a lot of them do work. A lot of them do work out. However, I get to the intraday, the lower time frames, and I just get in such denial when it's not working out in the lower time frames, and I let this judge my trade. And it's difficult. It's definitely difficult. Looking at that's tough. A lot of these candles broke. They're underneath the level, and I know I have to cut it, and I can always re-enter as long as I'm keeping the losses small and I'm not taking my whole account and putting them into the trade. So I know I can, but for whatever reason, it's tough. And now I know I'm rambling at this point, but just talking through it, kind of helps. But it's just so frustrating. I've done this before. Like I knew while I was entering that last time, I was even telling myself like this is dumb. Why am I sizing up on this? I like the level, but I'm sizing up on 0 DTEs. I did a great job before that of not buying expensive contracts, and then I went and bought some cheap 0 DTEs on MU, mainly because they were cheap, but also I did like the level. But sizing up on 0 DTEs, like what is that? That's not in my rule book. I have in my rule book to stay away from 0 DTEs. But I don't know. I know I'm rambling. Most of you guys probably didn't even make it this far in the video, but if you did, hey, reach out. Let me know what you think, what works for you, or are you in the same boat? Are you kind of in the same position where you feel like you have some solid rules, a good strategy, but there's still one thing that just keeps, when you show up, you have some good days, but then you have these big blow-up days. What works for you? But let me know what you guys think. DM me on X at SmokeyBlue018, and let's help each other out. Let's get rid of these big blow-up days so that we can become profitable, because I know I want it bad, but clearly not bad enough if I'm going to make these small errors that really turn into some catastrophic losses. Kept my seat at the table, so I will be back next week. Of course, still going to keep up with it, set my nightly alerts, and hopefully keep from 0 DTEs, or at least not sizing up in 0 DTEs. That's nightmare. Alrighty, see you in the next one. I'm going to go touch some grass and get away from the charts. See ya.